Greetings, my little angels. I hope you had a good day off yesterday. This week, we're going to be talking about multiplication with decimals, and we're going to start out doing it in a kind of strange way with decimal models. So let's just say that one flat equals one whole. We're going to make that assumption almost all the time that we show you a model. And looking at this model, you can see that it's broken into hundreds. And I've got 6 equal groups that have 4 hundredths in each of those groups. So as I count them up, I see I've got 4 hundredths here, and I've got 6 of those whole groups. So my number sentence is going to be 4 hundredths, 6 whole times. A decimal does not belong in that second number because we're talking about 6 whole groups for a total of 24 hundredths. Let's take just one more peek at those so you can kind of get a feel for what these are going to look like. This is basically a model for multiplying a decimal amount by a whole number. So I see that I have got equal groups, so I can use multiplication. I've got 6/10 in each group, and I've got 3 of them. So if I have 6/10 3 whole times, I would have $1.80 or 1 8/10. Next, we're going to move into a really weird skill that's multiplying a decimal by a decimal. So in this model, what you see is you see 4/10 shaded vertically, and then you see 3/10 shaded going horizontally, and the overlap is going to be our product. These are very weird for some people, me especially. So it might take you a little time to get used to these. And don't worry, we will practice these a lot to where they start to make a little more sense and they're a little more understandable. Then we're going to move into the standard algorithm. The first thing we're going to do, like always, is we're going to make a very quick mental estimation. 3 8/10 is kind of close to 4. And if I had 4 about half of the time, I would have an answer that's kind of close to 2. Now, how I knew to do that is I know that 45 hundredths is close to half of $1. And the thing that's going to freak some of you out is that we can multiply and get a smaller product if we're multiplying by an amount that is less than 1. And when you were younger, your teachers always talked about multiplication making things bigger, but that is not always the case. And so your little kid brain might need to be overridden at times this week when we practice. And then the other thing that's kind of weird about multiplying with decimals is that we do not line them up. I know we've been saying line up or mess up, line up or mess up. Well, when you multiply, it's faster and easier and not necessary to line them up. So remember the cheer, when you're adding and subtracting, you line up the decimals. Multiplying decimals, you're going to count over spaces. So what I did was I did not line up my decimals, and I just worked through my standard algorithm for 2-digit times 2-digit multiplication. And after I finish that multiplication, I'm going to count over spaces in my factors. I've got 3 little leaps, and I'm going to make 3 little leaps in my product. And I am going to be really picky about making you guys show those hops because it will make sure that you get that decimal in the right spot. And then also, if you're actually estimating, which hopefully you are, it will help you know where to put that decimal anyways. I know that 1 7/10 is close to my estimate of 2. So I could have kind of figured out where to put that decimal with or without the hopping if I'm really thinking about what makes sense number-wise. So I'm really excited. This week is short, and we're going to move pretty quickly through these topics. So the screencast that you have on this interactive image would be a fantastic resource to revisit if you're finding this week's stuff a little confusing. And just be aware that lots of kids will find it strange at the very beginning, and then it gets very doable quickly. So do not let your initial reaction freak you out. It's not as tough as it seems, and we'll give you lots of good practice. Okay, have a good week.